Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and you guys asked for it. Well, I'm doing it. Currently, the dangerous winter storm Elliott intensifies. There is a bomb cyclone likely, and the weather station's saying that this is life-threatening temperatures outside. Currently in western Nebraska, it is negative 9 degrees according to weather.com. The haze and wind is negative 4 daytime high, negative 19 overnight. There's your temperatures there, but it feels like right now it's negative 38 outside with the wind chill blowing 30 miles an hour. And I can tell you that windows closed and it's still coming through. This is the coldest temperature I've ever recall in my life. So yes, those Canadian friends, I realize it's colder up where you're at, all that kind of stuff. This is as cold as it gets down here. So in this video, we're going to start up that diesel. Let's see what it does. So a couple days ago, I did a video, I saw it burr cold, and people were like, well, it's 5 degrees, Tim, that's not cold enough. Well, hopefully this addresses the criticism. But I will tell you, we're going to do two things in this video. I went ahead this morning, and I plugged in the block heater in this truck because, according to the manual, anything over colder than 0 degrees, you need to plug that in. It's been plugged in for about 4 hours now, which is what per the manual it says. And so I'm going to go out and start it up. I'm going to see what it does in this cold temperature. Then I'm going to tell you about a trip I made last night where I screwed up and I had to run for emergency provisions before the storm hit, and I didn't warm it up, and I didn't do anything, and it was actually negative 4 when I did that. Whoops. So I'll tell you both those things in this video, but I'm going to go get my coat on, get my gloves, and let's go out to the truck, and I'll see you inside the cabin because I can't film outside, guys. It's impossible. Okay, block heater. Unplug that. Let's get that out of the way. Let's hop in. Okay. Here we go. Let's see how it does idling. Yeah, you can see where it's working on it. It's staying right around 1,000. Yeah, it says negative 1 outside, but that's not right. It just depends what weather service is saying. So, yeah, so it's starting up, but it's still frozen cold. See, the overall temperature's down. And I had it plugged in, so yeah. Okay, so ideally I'd sit here for at least 10 minutes, let it warm up if I was going anywhere, which I'm not going to go anywhere today. So I'll probably just get out and plug it back in tomorrow morning, let it heat up some more if I'm going to go anywhere. This is definitely an inside day. So it turned on pretty decent. Again, we've talked about this many different times, different videos. This is not like a heavy-duty diesel. You don't have to wait for glow plugs, you don't have to wait for the old diesel stuff to heat up. This turns on starts up pretty fast. We've also discussed this quite a bit. Looks like it turns out in like 21 model year. Chevy took off the option for the high idle as an option underneath the settings screen on this truck. And so there's a lot of debate right now, and I'm not sure where I side on it as far as whether or not this is actually high idle. It should actually idle about 600 RPMs, and really 1,000's high idle automatically. They don't give you a choice anymore, or if it's just the way it's idling. So I can't wait to do more videos this summer to kind of give you an idea what that is, as it's not freezing below 0 temperatures as it is now. Now, I promised you a story from last night. So let me do the settings here. So the setting was the storm's blowing in. We started getting massive amounts of snow. It was almost whiteout conditions across the street. And I needed some provisions, some certain liquid to keep me warm in these temperatures being cold. So I ran to the store that sells those certain provisions to get that stuff. And being that it was cold and being that I was in a hurry and the weather was kind of terrible, I completely neglected to look at the temperature. And when I got in the truck, I was driving along, and I'm like, why is it idling weird? Like, I just got in, I started it, I didn't even wait for it to idle, I put it in gear, and I drove. I treated this exactly like a gas truck. It made no difference to it, even though it's a diesel engine. As I'm driving, the idling is just weird. It's not running right. I can tell it's not doing what it should be doing. It didn't sound right. I got to the store. I actually did one of those things where I don't typically do it, but I decided to do it this time. I actually locked my doors and let the diesel just sit and idle. That's a very common around here. Most guys will let their diesels idle, but usually it's a heavy-duty diesel, which takes longer to start, longer to warm up, and they just let those things idle. It kind of makes sense, especially in the winter when it's cold. But I did it in this case because I knew things weren't quite right. I'm concerned about a gelling situation, which is kind of a combination of the cold temperatures and poor fuel. I've been buying the ultra sulfur diesel fuel, currently the top grade, so I don't know if I'll have that problem. I did have a Range Rover here, at least I think it was about 3 years ago, and that thing gelled up while I was gone, and it was like 1 degree overnight. So I'm a little concerned about gelling based on past history, but so far no problems. This, again, the coldest I've ever seen it. And so yeah, when I got back last night, truck was idling a lot better, driving a lot better as I drove it. It warmed up and it got, lubrication in the engine and everything was smooth. But yeah, so I've done both. I've screwed up, and like I said, when I started up yesterday afternoon, it took a little bit longer to start, if I recall correctly, but I didn't, again, I was focusing on the weather and the storm and the snow. I wasn't really thinking about while I was idling, how long it started. I just needed to get the store back. In this case, I did more per the manual, plugged it in, and there you go. Started up, I would say, pretty well. I'm going to give this an A+ as far as a diesel and starting up the wintertime. Typically, those are two things that you just struggle with. Now, granted, I did have the engine block heater on, but I will say it did start up at -4 temperature. It just it didn't like it. It didn't like it at all. Then I would not recommend doing that, and I was just a dummy. I screwed up. So, okay, I'm going to add to this video real fast. Here's what it sounds like when it's running. And in my view, that's a little bit of a high idle. It sounds different. It's granted very cold out here, but it sounds different. So maybe that is a high idle on that. Maybe it's not an option anymore. Maybe it's standard. Things you learn the more you drive this vehicle. Hey, for more on this truck, because again, I'll probably do another 20, 30, 40 videos. You guys know how this works. Check the videos here on the left-hand side of the screen. Website down below as well. Pickuptrucktalk.com. More details over there. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road. Thank God it's over. I can go inside now. It's freaking cold out here.